turn in the work. Have you guys figured out how to do that okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so if, at the very end, if anybody needs help, we can stay on and do that. Okay, so first I'm going to share my screen. Did everyone get the graphic organizer? Do you have it on your computer or your iPad?
Yes, I have it
Mine
right in
there.
front of me.
Excellent.
I have it.
Yeah, I have mine.
Okay, so here is the one that I started for us. So if you guys are working on this from a computer and you open this document, this is Adobe, and in Adobe they have a sidebar with tools. This fill-in sign, if you haven't worked with it yet, it makes you be able to put the text boxes in really easily. I know some of you already figured that out, but I just want to make sure because that's how I'm going to be filling it out with you guys today. Okay, everyone? So in the first box, it asks you to write the writing prompt. This is just like on our planning page, we just have you turn the prompt into your topic sentence. This graphic organizer is asking you to just write in the prompt. So everybody should have this in their writing prompt box. Using details from the text, explain what life was like on the Oregon Trail. That's our prompt. Does everybody have that there?
Yeah. Wait, can we just have what life was like on the Oregon Trail?
Yeah, that's okay too.
Okay.
So if you're just getting into our lesson, all we've done so far is got to the graphic organizer and we typed in our writing prompt. It will be easier for me to see if you guys are following along if I can see your cameras. You don't have to, but just a FYI.
Unless you got the day wrong. Or unless it was at 9 and you missed it.
So hopefully you guys are to your informative graphic organizer. We have the prompt written in there. Emily, what did you shorthand yours to? You didn't write the whole sentence. What did you say?
I said what life was like on the Oregon Trail.
Perfect. And we see how that is very similar to what the regular question was asking. It's almost the same. Okay, so that's just the prompt. So then we have our introduction paragraph. And in this document, it asks for a hook, which we know what that is. We can come up with that. Then it asks for a bridge. Do we learn about bridges in our normal school?
No.
No, not really. So we don't really need to worry about this being a bridge. What is the second sentence in a introduction paragraph? What should that actually be?
A topic sentence?
A topic sentence, right. So we're going to have an interesting hook, and then we're going to add a topic sentence, okay? So we don't need to start a hook, right? Because this movie is not very creative and we can do that last. What should our topic sentence for our whole essay be if our prompt was, what was life like on the Oregon Trail? Who has some ideas?
I have life on the Oregon Trail is much different than how we know life today.
Okay, that's a good one. Does anyone have anything else? Or an idea? You don't have to have written it down, but does anyone have a different idea for a topic sentence? So I like Emily's, but we could also, how was life on the Oregon Trail? Was it easy?
No.
Not so easy, right? Someone besides Emily, Emily is like just saving my life here and actually responding to my questions. So for the rest of you, what was life like on the Oregon Trail? We should have read some of the story from chapters 1, 2, and 3. If you haven't read that yet, that would be why this is very difficult. So we need to make sure we're reading those Florida Virtual School slides in the modules that have the link section. Does anyone know what life was like on the Oregon Trail? What we're saying, was it easy?
No.
I don't think it was easy.
I think it was difficult because they had to like cook food over an open fire, which you could possibly burn out from rain or wind.
Okay.
And they had to go and they didn't have guns, so they couldn't shoot their prey or their food, so they had to go and like try to attack it and kill it.
Right. There's not a grocery store to go to on the Oregon Trail.
No, there's no Walmart or Publix.
No, and they're in the towns where they were leaving from. There was merchants, which is a name for people who sell things. So there wasn't even a person who owned a business selling things that you might be able to get or they made for you. You were kind of on your own out in the Oregon Trail. Talia put in the comments, it was hard and tiring. That's a good idea. So maybe on the back of your page, hold on, let me get a whiteboard.
I need to sneeze, but I can't.
Look at the light.
It's not working.
What's not working?
Nothing.
Oh.
Okay. So right now while we're talking about it, a good idea is, I don't have a back of my page, but on the back of your guys' pages, we might say, like, if we're answering the question, how was life on the Oregon Trail? We might say hard.
Yeah,
Right?
I would agree.
That's backwards, but you know what I mean. It's hard. Okay? So this is on the back of our page. We're starting our idea web here. So if it's hard, then what was hard about it? Emily said getting food was hard.
Yes.
So the faster I get it done, the faster you can get some work, right?
Who else has an idea of how things were hard on the Oregon Trail?
We haven't seen any cannibals.
Angelina?
It was really hard.
Everything was hard. What
Yeah,
specifically?
like
What task?
walking. Like
Oh,
just,
it was walking far.
Stressful. Yeah.
Who else has an idea of what it might have been like?
Yeah.
Chris, do you have an idea?
They just want to get stuff done, that's all.
Yeah, I think it was harder because they didn't really have any like electricity, so they had to make the lights and cook differently.
All right, no electricity.
After all this stuff, and then we're all gonna be scared.
Okay, so for some of these ideas that we have, getting food, a far walk, no electricity, did we read anything? Was there any evidence from the text that are maybe
Yes.
some details or examples that support these ideas?
Yes.
Emily has a detail. What is your detail, Emily?
In the text, I forgot which chapter, but Otis's feet were starting to hurt a lot from the far walking,
Yes.
and it was like
Yes.
unbalanced ground where it was like
Right.
up and
It was like rocky.
And I've
Yeah.
also seen-
So if you guys haven't done that before too, when you're walking on uneven ground a lot, your
It's hard.
knees start to hurt,
Like when I said, like,
your shins hurt, like your whole body starts to hurt because you're using more muscles than just your feet and your legs. Okay, so we have, so follow along because this is not on your graphic organizer. We're getting ideas right now. We're saying that our main topic for this essay is that life on the Oregon Trail was hard. One thing that was difficult was getting food. What is this getting food going to be?
Oh, you have, okay.
That's going to turn into what?
On which one are you? Oh, but you said
Angelina?
you don't have, like,
you're having to hunt with your bare hands.
CC.
Yep, hunting.
or
So,
a few.
this is the main idea of the whole essay. Then we have a main idea of our body paragraphs. Do you see what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
And now we have our evidence from the text. Okay? Usually in school, we will get multiple pieces of evidence, but for this type of essay, we just want to be able to give a reason and give a detail that we read about. Does that make sense? Okay, so we said that one thing that was hard was it was a really far walk, and Otis's feet hurt. Why were they walking? Was everyone walking?
No.
No.
Who would be not walking? What was another way of transportation?
Like horses.
It was
the wagon train.
It's called a covered wagon.
Yeah.
Covered wagon.
Yeah, what did they put in the covered wagon though? Was that for people?
No. It was
It was
storage
for
for food.
storage.
Right. And then so who got to stay in the wagon?
Otis.
Maybe Otis for a little while. Emily?
I think the person who was like controlling the wagon.
The person that was controlling the wagon. And then you guys know Miss Nubia is from Oregon, right?
Yeah.
So we used to play the computer game a lot called Oregon Trail. And so I have some background knowledge too. And so the person that was driving obviously was sitting on the wagon.
Yeah.
And then if you got hurt, they put you in the wagon. So if you broke your leg or if you were a baby or a small kid, then you would ride in the wagon too. So if Otis wasn't less than 4, was he riding in the wagon very much? No, right? So that was another difficult part was they had a covered wagon, but you just had to walk next to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Angelina said that getting food was difficult, was one of the reasons that it was hard. She's talked about hunting. Is there a detail from the text that we can support our ideas about hunting? Jacob?
It was when they said the buffaloes they had to hunt buffaloes by shooting them with arrows, or they had no place to go and they would have to fall off the cliff. In paragraph 3.
So you're saying that hunting was dangerous. Okay, could be
The
dangerous.
buffalo.
And then Jacob, you were saying that you had a specific event from the story that proved that it was dangerous? That's what we'd be looking for is like what happened to Otis when he was hunting or Will? What was the Native American's name?
Lonehorn.
Lonehorn.
Longhorn.
Maybe if Lonehorn or Will or Otis was hunting and there was a time where they were in danger. That would be a detail we want to add. Okay, so we have our ideas about getting food, our ideas about it being a far walk. We have no electricity here. Is there evidence from the stories that there's some details that we can talk about how no electricity made it hard?
I wonder if they're like giving the
Oh.
word to the people that are in
Yeah.
the office.
Jacob?
They had to go ahead and they had to cook their food over a fire. Then they couldn't see. They didn't have like flashlights to see in the dark. They only had the moon's light
Mm-hmm.
to see.
No, moon doesn't provide that.
Okay, so they
reflection of the
couldn't see in the dark. What would they have had to use if they couldn't use electricity in the dark? Angelina?
Candles.
Candles, right.